If you want to save materials but still shred in every fight, these budget loadouts are all you need in art graders. And I promise you there's going to be a time when you want to run a budget build because you're going to be questing. This game just came out. There's plenty of things you're going to be doing, so you're going to be losing gear here, left, and right. So these budget builds should help you out. All right, so for my budget kit that I like to run in art graders, it looks something just like this, right? I take 5 band-aids, 3 shield rechargers. I could bring more. These are pretty expensive for early on players and still people trying to learn the game, right? And I take a smoke grenade. Smoke grenade's really nice, honestly. There's the little smoke grenades you can take as well, which are pretty nice, right? You have the little smoke, little smoke grenades. These are not bad. The reason why we bring smoke grenades is because they can be handy, obviously, in fights, but usually I like to use them for extraction purposes. So when I'm going to go leave, I like to smoke off where I'm running. Just kind of, it's common people are camping extractions, and especially if you're playing solo. But the rest of the kit, using looting augment, you can use any other augment, a light shield. You're going to have a lot of this, right? And the gun of choice is the kettle. The kettle is just hands down really good, right? I mean, it is semi-automatic. Some people can like stray away from that, but with this attachment right here, compensator, this is the best attachment you want on any gun you can put on. With the reduced per shot dispersion, the dispersion is going to be kind of annoying on some of the guns, but if you put a compensator on any gun that you can, it'll help that with a lot, and it just makes it nice when you're running around fighting. So if you're pretty proactive in this game and running around a lot, which everyone is, right, you're going to want a compensator. Another thing you can do is, for this one, you could throw on the other mods. This is just my cheap, super cheap budget build. And another thing you can do is upgrade your gun. This gun is actually really cheap to upgrade, right? So 8 metal parts, 10 plastic parts, upgrade. And then the next upgrade is simple gun parts. We have a lot of those, right? You find simple gun parts all the time, and then 10 metal parts. So you will be, chewing through a little bit of metal parts. But as you can see right here to the right, we're going to get our bullet velocity increased to 50, which is pretty crazy. And a reduced load time to 26 and more durability. But with that being said, this gun is pretty freaking mean, right? Also looks cool, right? We could throw a magazine on it. This holds 20 rounds stock. It's pretty doable as a solo player. Let's also look at the other attachments you could throw on here. The light magazine, it's pretty cool. You're going to need stow springs for everything. So if you're out there looting, make sure you always pay attention for stow springs. You're going to use them so much. In the compensator, you're going to need wires. So it's pretty simple. Metal parts, wires, plastic parts, stow springs. If you want to use the light mag, it's pretty good. Extra 5 rounds. Could save you in a fight. You could throw a stock on here. Also pretty good. This is reduced recoil recovery time, and it also reduces the dispersion recovery time. It's not a mandatory, but I think if you're just on the budget end and you're not going to do any other upgrades, at least try to go out there and get a compensator. But if not, get you a stable stock. This will make your gun good. We're also going to get a light mag. This is what a fully kitted gun would be. Vertical recoil control is pretty simple in this game. I don't really ever have I don't have a gun that I have like the fear I can't control the recoil, right? So you could go with horizontal recoil, keep it from bouncing side to side. I feel like horizontal recoil is a little bit more like annoying to deal with, right? But honestly, I just recommend kettle with a compensator. You don't even have to have a high level kettle. Do something like this. You got 25 rounds and a pretty freaking mean gun. With that being said, I'm going to show you guys kind of what it looks like. All right, in the practice range, we can see here, the dispersion is pretty quick. For crouch, it's even quicker. That's a good tip to know. As you can see, the hip fire is pretty mean. Can pick pretty consistent shots with that. But like, look at this right here. It is almost strictly a point and click gun, the kettle is. I feel like this is also just one of the cheapest guns. It makes it so nice you can do this. So you're easily going to be mowing down people and other raiders. Robots you can handle as well. But like, that's what makes this gun so versatile. All right, for my next loadout, everyone probably saw this coming, right? But we have the Pharaoh, and we're pairing it up with the Stitcher. This is a level 4 Stitcher. It's just the one I had in my stash, right? But it's simple, right? This is a sniper rifle in a sense, and this is SMG. So it just makes a pretty good combo in this game. And they're pretty relatively cheap and easy guns to maintain, right? With that being said, same concept applies, honestly. You want to make sure you got the compensator. You could go for a stock. I'll put the stock on here. And I can show you guys, once again, what this loadout looks like. The Pharaoh, the Stitcher, light shield, looting, ammo. I usually kind of keep my meds the same. Usually I go for the 5 of the weak band-aids, 3 shield rechargers. If you do have the skill, yeah, I'll show you the skill. If you do have this skill right here, in round crafting, you were able to craft the band-aids and the bandages, and you're able to craft the shield rechargers. So this is a really good thing. You can also get this to a more advanced level later on, but I don't know if this one's so much worth it. But yeah, this will allow you to craft in raid so you can make band-aids. Just a little tip there. All right, everyone knows the Pharaoh by now. Ridiculously good sniper, right? I don't know how I missed that shot, but I did. As you can see, the dispersion's not bad. You can lock in on, get a pretty clean shot. Your goal is to aim for headshots with this and potentially push up to a player and then get close enough just to gun him down with SMG. And that's the whole goal of it, right? But I'm also going to show you guys what it's like to not have the dispersion increase here. So we got it like that, standing up. It takes relatively no time, right? Well, let's take the stock on the compensator up and see what we're looking like now. As you can see, took a little bit more time. Also, with this running effect, it's going to take even more time. So when we're running around between covers like this, it's going to take a lot more time. And we'll throw it back on. Just like this. Now watch us running between cover. Go to take a shot. Way faster. Get some nice clean shots with these attachments here. And with that being said, basically the only other combo you could run early on for kind of a budget build is the Rattler, right? They give you a fair amount of these, and this is what you start the game with. This gun, it doesn't feel as good unless it's upgraded, right? So this one's a level 3, and it has a +8 mag size, so it's 18. This one's nice. But let's say let's do a little level 1, right? We have a 10-round mag in this thing, so it's hard to kill with 10 rounds in this game. You got to hit all your 10 shots, right? Relatively cheap to upgrade. It costs more than the kettle, which is surprising, right? So it costs more than the kettle, does a little bit more damage, don't get me wrong, but being able to have freaking 25 bullets and just being able to tap them is just kind of really nice. Other than that, another great recommendation here, obviously everyone knows this, everyone watches people use this gun. The Anvil is just hands down. If you can just run around with just this gun only, you can make magic happen, honestly. Because the Anvil is just, it's basically a pocket sniper. It's got very little dispersion. You can reload it faster, and you just do high damage, right? You hit a headshot, and your opponent's instantly just, most of the time shields crack, especially early on, because most people just have green shields, right? This is basically the kit guide that I would run. I would either run the kettle, just straight up kettle, and that's it, or I would use the Pharaoh and the Stitcher. That's my recommendations. So Pharaoh, Stitcher, pretty dynamic. You are carrying 2 guns. The reason why I always don't like to carry 2 guns is because of the reason, like, oh look, my weight, I'm 13.9 here, which is pretty important, right? You don't want to be too heavy. But if I'm using, let's say, the customized Pharaoh and the Stitcher, I'm already up to 20. So I get an extra 7 kgs here. Well, I don't know if I think it's just 20 pounds, right? Is it kgs? It doesn't tell you. Either way, it's six extra pounds you have to have added on, right? So if you're just rocking a regular gun, you have 6 less pounds, which is nice early on because we don't have our skill trees upgraded all the way to get the reduced weight. So if we're rocking here something like a kettle, and we usually bring 2 stacks of ammo, you can do a little less, like 170, you know, in that range. Around 150 is what I recommend as a solo. Unless you're questing for like going to hot areas and that you know your quest is going to be pretty active, I would bring more ammo. But if not, you might not even, you can get away with 100 rounds, honestly, if you try to avoid things. But yeah, we're looking about 17 pounds, which is nice because you're gonna be able to carry a bunch of loot, right? And I also like having a second slot just in case I do kill someone and have a pretty good gun. I'm putting it there. I know you can put the gun in your inventory like a 1 slot or just like this, which is not bad, but you got to think, imagine I had 2 guns, right? Okay, I'll do the Pharaoh and the Stitcher right here. I have 3 guns right here. That's already 30 pounds. I'm already so close to being maximum weight. I'm over half my limit. But yeah, this is my guide on the Arc Raider gun build that I would use budget loadout. It's pretty simple. This is going to be effective for most players. If you're really worried about not having anything in game, do the good old classic, right? Free loadout. The only thing that sucks about free loadout, it's random gear, right? Random guns, random quick use, and you don't have a safe pocket, and you also are only able to hold 35 pounds. So, you know, take it as is. It's like a pretty nice scav run. I would look at it as like a scav run right on Tarkov. But with that being said, that is my build for Arc Raiders, my little budget loadout. And if you guys like this Arc Raiders type of content, let me know in the comments down below, and you guys hit the subscribe to watch me play some more Arc Raiders.